Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I said that like I was doing this consistently. Probably from the title you can see I have moved. I probably have a lot of updating to do because I have not been on here in forever. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and every time I say I'm back, y'all, and I'm staying, and then I do one video and then I come back like a year or months later. But I just wanted to give an update on my life. And I kind of wanted to start vlogging again because I feel like I'm going through a big transitional phase, and also like a part of my journey is really starting like strong, and something feels like something big is going to happen. I just don't know what it is. So sometimes like I just feel like you should start vlogging again. And also I just want to kind of have a community to also like share my journey in case others are going through the same thing, and maybe they can learn from me or take some pointers, or we all can learn from one another. But just to help somebody else out, I feel like nowadays a lot of people feel like they're by themselves or going through it by themselves, or at least that's what your mind wants you to do. But anyways, that'll be another topic. But really this video is just going to be for my first like empty apartment tour, so it's probably going to be super short. As you can see, it's been a lot of changes. It's been a couple of years. Obviously, I'm not the same size anymore, which that's going to be a story for its own, of my weight gain, which has been different. But that's another video, another time. I would definitely like to go through that experience, because if anybody knows me, I've always been small, size 0, almost double 0, could never gain weight, begged to gain weight. So I'm definitely going to talk about that. And also my tattoos. I did not have any piercings or tattoos. Well, I did have this tree, but not this sleeve, so I'll probably do a video based on that too. But I just wanted to give like a short story of how we even got here to this move, honestly. So after COVID, I think the last video I did was like me of my last apartment. I ended up moving out not too long after that because my lease was up. But y'all, I really want to sit down, but I ain't got no chairs because I also sold most of all my apartment furniture when I moved out. But anyways, I also have to clean up. I just actually dropped my sisters off from who helped me move here to the airport, so I'm by myself. So now I got time to straighten up. But anyways, back to it. Obviously the ADHD is kicking in. But anyways, so let's start off. So I actually left the apartment. I was supposed to get a house with my sister. So I was like, I don't want to start. I had also just got out of a relationship, like a whole breakup. But anyways, another time, another story. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back home because me and my sister were supposed to get a house before COVID hit. And I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to do a short-term lease, so let me just like go back home to my aunt's house. So I went back to my aunt's house. My sister COVID ended up happening, which as soon as I moved in, my first week of going back in the house, we got COVID. So I was out of work for like over a month. And so I ended up leaving that job because like my aunt's house, like my grandma lives there. They're a little bit older. One of my uncles, he like has like a cancer history or whatever. I know I said that wrong, but I'm a little bit flustered, y'all. I'm tired. But they're a little bit more high risk. So when I went back, the company still wanted me to like, and granted I was gone over a month, the company still wanted me to like market, and that's the time where COVID was new and no one knew what was happening. So they like literally shut down everything, but still they wanted me to outreach market and like go to 15 different places at one time. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. Like we had to call an emergency on my granny. Like we had to call like the ER, and I was just like, I'm not taking them through that. They're too high risk. If it was me, granted, I should still worry, but like not when it comes to others. So I ended up leaving there. Ended up at another job with leasing. It was brand new. They waited 3 months for this job, but in the meantime, rewind, sorry y'all, I totally mixed that up. So I ended up getting another job where it was leasing, but it was like older apartment, and y'all, people were literally like falling through the floor. So I stayed there because I was like, I'm the person where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna change it. Like I'm gonna be the change that needs to happen. Like the office, I loved everybody like personality wise, but work wise we were all different. I'm very much like on stuff, and they were not as much. They're a little bit more lax. But the biggest thing was the property was just falling apart, and they weren't doing the correct procedures to actually change it. So after like a couple of people kept falling through the floor, no change was happening, I was like, okay, this looks like a lawsuit. And I'm also that type of person where I'm not comfortable, I'm not a liar. So like I used to be on tours and I would never say anything good about the apartment, like property, not like nasty, but I would only state facts. Like it was never like, oh my god, this is amazing. But for some reason people love my personality and they still would apply, and I just would feel sad and bad every time they did. So I ended up leaving there, applied for another job, waited 3 months for this job. They literally had me in like a pod, no bathroom, no nothing. Like I'm going to the gas station to use the bathroom. I gotta lug a generator out every day just to have power. I was the only one there. Didn't get full training because at the same time they were still selling another property, so my manager was over there at the time. Went there, it was a very like hostile environment once again. So I stayed there a little bit too longer because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be the change, I'm gonna work hard, blah blah blah. They ended up trying me. So I ended up leaving there, and then I took a break and started working at Steve Madden, which I ended up loving. It was like the break I needed mentally because my team was like amazing. It was like that energy I kind of needed at that moment, and I think we all did before we all went our separate ways. So after a while I was trying to figure out what to do because I think I told y'all my sister ended up getting a job in Atlanta. So I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do? So I was trying to figure out my next steps, like besides leasing. So one thing I've always wanted to do is like get into interior decorating and also like small event planning. So the whole time I feel like I'm that person where I never wanted to be a broke artist. Like that's my thing. Like I just never want to be a broke artist. So I feel like I did everything to try to steer away from anything creative and kind of just focus on like making money after school, which I love real estate. Like don't get me wrong, like I love it. So this is something I do want to be in, but when it comes to like fashion or anything, I feel like I don't want that to be my bread and butter. Like I want to be able to do what I want to do and keep it as my art, and if you buy it, you buy it, if you don't, you don't. So the next big thing was, okay, well why don't you start doing interior decorating, because that's something like I would rather stress over, like the wrong paint. Like I read a lot of self-help books, and one of the things was like everything is about like problem solving, and it's just about we find happiness in problem solving. So it's just like what problems would I rather solve, and it would still bring me joy at the end. So I felt like I started missing being creative. So my whole thing, I want to say last year, was me practicing things or trying it to see if it's a hobby or something I want to do. So the first thing I did was like my birthday last year. It was like 4 days long. I probably should have vlogged that, but I ended up having like a sleepover, a camp style like sleepover, which I'll go into details about my business in the next video because that ties more into like why I like the cows and stuff like that. And then I also do a video of one of my projects. So one of my projects was I did my birthday party. I went all out, like spent the money like from start to finish. No budget, a budget but my budget, and actually fulfilling the project and not like saying, oh, I don't have to really finish it because I'm not doing it for anything. And I wanted to add it to my profile, my portfolio. So after that was that project. And then my biggest project was I I decorated my aunt's room that I was staying in, like from top to bottom. Like it was expensive to tell, like changing floors, like everything. So I did that project and I ended up loving it. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is something I could do forever. Like maybe not do big events right now, but small ones. So I'm working on that, which that'll probably be another detailed story I have to do. And I felt like I went on a whole rant besides telling y'all how I got here. But at least y'all have ideas of what we're gonna be talking about. But then through all that, after having to lease Steve Madden and figuring everything out, I was like, dang, I think I want to go back to leasing because I actually like missed it. And then I also wanted to get back into it because I was also trying to move to Atlanta with my sister at one point. So I was like, okay, well, I rather lease. Like, I miss it, and then also kind of stay in the field, because I'm still like, you know, I guess like staying in it with the interior decorating. So it was like, okay, you still love doing it, so you still can make money, and you still can kind of put your name out there and like figure out how to maneuver, or like how to network your business and get your name out there after you finish your project. Because I was like, I gotta have something to show, because my friend used to talk to people about me, but it was like I had nothing documented to show. Like, I had stuff I did in my last apartment, but it was never a project I did where I put my all into it and like paid and like did a full-on project. So I was like, okay, I need a project, so to have something to show. So I did that project. Some things happened when me and my sister were supposed to do the business together, and that's supposed to move to Atlanta. It didn't happen. So one of my friends, they were like, okay, well, since y'all not doing the business together, like, how do you feel about like just moving anywhere besides Atlanta? Which I really didn't want to go to Atlanta, honestly. Like, I only was going there because my friends, and I felt like it would be a little bit easier like networking. But after a while, I was like, it's gonna be hard networking regardless, because even though like I have people I know there, it's not to say that they can get me in the direction I need, if that makes sense. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'll be open, like, since plans have changed, like, I'm gonna just like see. But I had a plan. So one of my friends, the first time I tried to get back into leasing, it did not work out. And so at first I was like, I'm just gonna like hold off. I'm like, whatever, I want to save money anyway, because I had spent all that money on the project. So I was like, maybe it's just I'm supposed to wait, because every interview just did not feel right, and I was just like, I don't want to be in a hostile environment again. So after a couple of interviews, I stuck with Steve Madden, but then I had an older employee reach out to me, and my camera about to die, I might have to use my phone, but anyways, I had another older assistant manager who reached out to me, who was now the property manager at my last job, and she asked me to come back. So I was like, okay, bet. So I ended up, but I did tell her up front, I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I don't know when. My plan at that time, because I still was moving in with my sister at that point, was like I wanted to be no later than August, because she ended up doing a short-term lease for me. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, I'll come back. So ended up coming back. A lot of stuff happened. Like I said, I'm a planner. So typically, I've learned throughout the years, like I felt like God has taken me through a journey, our life has taken me through a journey where He has slapped me in the face to let me know, like, I may have a plan, but ultimately, like, things change, and I have to learn to be comfortable with things changing, because before I was never that person who was comfortable with change. Like, it's like everything had to go like this, and if it didn't happen, I would freak out. But recently, over the years, I kind of like let go a little bit. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up going back to them, got the job. She knew I was leaving. I was trying to move by August, because I had an idea of like how much money I want saved up. But during that time, I was like, whatever. Like, God is like telling me to just like wing it a little bit, like to trust Him. So I started applying places early, like before August. Because I was like, by the time they start calling me, I'll probably be ready in August. Like, that was my mindset, because I wanted a brand new property as well. So I'm like, okay. So I started applying everywhere randomly, thinking nothing was going to come about it. Because, you know, I'm like secretly still in my mind saying like, okay, I don't have the savings that I want, but this how it's going to go. I'm going to start early. So I ended up doing that. And I just randomly started applying places. This is like maybe 3 weeks ago. I can't remember. But anyways, I started randomly applying places. I ended up getting an interview for Baltimore. Didn't get picked. In my mind, because I had applied to like Cali, like everywhere you could think about. Seattle, everywhere. So I'm like, okay. I didn't end up getting the job, and I never thought about coming back up north because of the weather. But I saw after talking with my friend who lives in Baltimore, I was like, dang, I wouldn't mind being up north after I didn't get the job and thinking about everything, because I was like, she is very much a business-oriented person, and I'm like, I feel like that's the type of energy I need to be on, is her type of energy. Like, I feel like she'll push me and help me get to that point and have no excuses. So I was like, dang, now I kind of want to move close to Baltimore. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up still applying places. I ended up finding another job that was in Pennsylvania, which wasn't that far away. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do the interview. I had a lot of interviews. Like I had one for Cali, I had like one for some other places. I can't remember off the top of my head, for Seattle. But I was just like, something felt different when this person called me for the interview. So I was like, I don't know, y'all. I'm getting kind of nervous because something feels like it's about to happen, but I just don't know what. So I ended up having an interview like on a Monday. He told me I should hear something by the end of the week. Got a call the next day about the job in Pennsylvania. And so, literally, here I am. I moved like on the 8th, but from that week before, I had put my 2 weeks in as soon as like possible. And I just started packing up and I got here. I'm gonna let y'all know I have been on go since the 8th. Well, 2 weeks before the 8th, because I was cleaning out storage, trying to make plans for this move. Like it was a whole 12-hour drive. My sister drove my car. I did the U-Haul. We came in on that Thursday of the 8th. I mean that Friday of the 8th, and then I've been on go since then. So I really haven't had time to register like the move or what happened. Like everything happened so quickly and randomly that I just didn't have time. So like here we are today. Sorry y'all, let's have a fruit fly in here. But here we are today, and I kept saying I was gonna start recording. So I was like, well, let me do my first apartment, my empty apartment tour. And then I kind of want to show y'all some things that I did get afterwards, because my apartment looks a mess. Because like I said, I have no furniture. My plan is to like make this my next project. So that's gonna take a little bit of time because that big account got hit hard randomly with this move, and such a big move in a short period of time. But here we are. I'm gonna probably start vlogging regularly. I'm probably gonna have a meltdown tonight because I think that this is the finally time things are gonna hit me. And I've also been having a hard time lately doing this move like mentally, not with the move, but in general before the move even happened. So that's another video for another time, talking about my mental health. But yeah, so I'm gonna just give y'all, this video is probably longer than I thought it was gonna be because I said I wasn't gonna go into details about everything else. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, anything y'all want to talk about or y'all want to know. But yeah, we not came from Charleston and we in Pennsylvania. So we shall see how this goes. Oh, and I never even heard of this place before, the part of Pennsylvania that I am in. So this should be fun. But I'm near like the Conshohocken, Manayunk, I hope I'm saying it right, area. I'm like 30 minutes out of Philly. So far so good. Everything has been really cute. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry I went on a rant. I should be more put together next time. But this has been a long journey and it hasn't been 2 weeks and it feels like 2 years. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy this. And hopefully I stay committed this time, y'all. I'm gonna try my best.
Hesitant, don't second guess yourself, babe. I can tell you ready for nobody else come first place. You're the one like light beam, yeah. Swear you melt like ice cream, yeah. Dollar bills, you pricey. Straight from Venus, but you Pisces. The best friend said you like me. Too soon, baby, too real. Loose car, I surely do tell. And I knew well how I do well when I won't swell, yeah. Alright, I'm moving, making my stand by, yeah. It's student night. I think you love it when we fight, yeah. Offside. Is you ready to hit the lights? Say 3 weeks went by. I thought you said it took you 9, yeah. First time a crime, obscene. I've seen your peak, your privates. Admit you psychic, facade this in a dream, revive it.
Is you ready? And what you waiting for? Tell me, is you ready? What you waiting for? Tell me, is you ready? And what you waiting for? Tell me, is you ready? And what you waiting for? Oh, you wasn't ready. I've been on this wave ever since you met me. Catch the motion back and forth, the vibe is heavy. I've been waiting for you, tell me, is you ready? Yeah, tell me, is you ready? What you waiting for? Tell me, is you ready?